Good
Oh
morning. I hope
man.
everyone's got their coffee. Or good
Excuse
evening
me.
sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, it's been a long week. We've had a ton of work this week. Unfortunately, there's not a lot of outward sign of progress. We we pushed out some updates yesterday that would help us do some debugging, and there should be a new release to add a little bit more into that and fix an issue that debugging work caused. But overall, we're making progress, even though it's not outwardly apparent. Um, and as usual, there's just so much to do and so many things to dig into. It's going to take more time. That's that's kind of where we're at with the work that we have going on. And what else can I say? Mm, I don't know. I've had my head buried in code. Yesterday was like a 18-hour day. So I'm and even this morning I'm back into it. So excuse me for being um, too hyper focused on that work. Uh, does anybody have any questions? Maybe I can answer. That would make it easy.
I'm just waiting patiently. I know you guys are working hard, so I'm not going to. Um,
Thanks, Nikki.
I really don't have any questions to ask. I'm hoping
Yeah.
that we'll be able to make events soon so that we can get that rolling. That would be great.
Yeah.
But
So at this
again,
point, our
mhm.
biggest issue is a service called the account connector that not everyone, but a lot of people are having a problem logging on. And we were trying to find, we're really focused on that because not being able to log on is obviously a big issue, to put it lightly. And it, it it's a tricky one to diagnose, but Ninki and I spent many hours on it yesterday. In fact, trying to get a workaround. There's a couple of people in the community that had figured out that if you launch Sansar and you're stuck at a loading screen, you can click a new web link to a world, and it would get you past the loading screen into your home world. But turns out that doing that uh, gets you into the game, and you can go through worlds, but it leaves you disconnected from this account connector service. So you do not
Oh,
really have your inventory. You don't really have access to several services that the game needs to function properly under the hood. So it's kind of a hacky workaround to get you in. You can visit worlds, but it's not functional. So we can't we can't use that as like a jumping off point. We need to fix the account connector service, and it's just going to take more time to dive into, unfortunately.
Hi, everybody.
Hey,
hey,
Solus.
Solus.
Hello,
Oh,
hello.
Carmel came in too.
Hey,
And
Carl.
Marl. Hey,
Yeah.
Marlboro Man.
If anybody has any questions, feel free to let me know.
I'm
I
just here to
noticed I
listen.
tried to follow I was able to log in at
Nice.
that moment and I followed the event link
Uh huh.
to the campfire event at Elfi's place.
Uh
But
huh.
I noticed that it was working everything and the redirector, it was an event with a redirector, but when I followed the redirector, it sent me to the Sensor Club, not to the event
Mm.
world that was planned for it.
Mm.
That was the only issue I had lately.
Well, that's good to hear. Like I said, it's working fairly well in some cases, but in others it's not. And fortunately, my main account, it's fortunate for my testing purposes. My main account is also having this account connector issue where I can't actually enter the world
Mm,
properly.
mhm.
So that really helps me for diagnosis. Um, so we're going deep into the systems to get to the root of the problem so that when we solve it, it's not just it's not just we push the reset button, we unplugged it and plugged it back in kind of thing. We're trying to solve these issues so that they're fixed once and for all. So the goal here is to fix issues, work on our upgrades so that we are to that future stable state where everything's easily scalable and functions properly. Yeah, there's quite a bit of work to do, but we are working hard at it every day. I know everyone knows that, and I keep repeating myself, but
I know it maybe
that's the
feels like
news.
you're repeating a lot of stuff, but it is nice to hear it and just to have that reassurance that people are working on it in the background.
Yeah.
Don't give up. Everything's going to be better than it was eventually. So, we just have to be patient. And I know that's hard.
Yeah, we have a new member of the team that started 10 working days ago now. And that's our Kafka expert. And we're looking for new team members to fill a role of platform engineer and front-end web developer. Yeah. So we got a lot of plans. We got a great roadmap worked out. There's just there's a lot of work to do, and first and foremost, we'd like obviously to get the platform to a stable place. It is difficult to do that development and troubleshooting work, even though Sansar is somewhat working for a lot of people, and not so much for others, like the ones who can't log in, like myself. You still can't just shut it off, install all of your debugging tools, turn it back on, turn it off again. Like our efforts are hampered by the fact that we are working in a production environment, trying to keep things running at the same time as working on it. But there's still so much stuff to work on that I'd say that aspect of it only plays a small part in the timeline, although it is significant. Hmm. I've heard a lot of comments from a few people. It's not many, but a few people don't feel like I am being open and honest and transparent with everybody. And I disagree. I wouldn't be here every Saturday letting you in on the details of our work if that weren't the case. I hope everyone can appreciate the amount of effort that we're putting into this and the direction. And I've already we've stated in the past the direction that we're headed with Sansar and what we hope for the future. So I hope that all, I don't know, maybe some people just don't take the time to appreciate it or something, and that's okay. Not everyone's gonna get it. They don't have to. That's fine.
It's that old saying,
It's just
you
hard to
can't
hear,
please.
right?
Right. No, it is.
I shouldn't read
Especially
the
when you're
comments
working so hard
in this case.
and you're not getting paid. I mean, that's got to be killer to the psyche, but like they say, you can't make everybody happy all the time. So
Yeah, for sure.
No, everybody should appreciate what you guys are doing. And can I say one thing?
Absolutely.
Many, many, many years ago when labs, well, even before it was open beta, there was a time when the lab had to go in and fix some stuff. And they basically said, sorry about my dog. And they
okay.
basically said, and I probably will piss some people off, but they basically said, we can fix it right and you will lose assets, or we could fix it wrong and save assets. And if that's the situation again, fix it right. Get rid. I mean, if I lose my worlds, I start over. I would rather have Sansar performing to its peak than having you guys try to patch it up and and then fall into more problems. I mean, if we lose assets, hell, we lose assets. We can always make them or get them back. But like I said, I'm sure I'm going to start a war. But I mean,
poor
I think
Solus.
it's. I just think
I agree, but I don't know.
I
The
know
idea
we
of
put
losing world is like, no.
well, it's like, yeah, we put in tons of money and time and everything, but it's like if they can fix it right and we lose assets, let's go forward and make something amazing instead of trying to hold on to the past for the sake of, assets.
I
Anyway,
hear you,
that,
and I appreciate that.
well,
The good news is that we're not up against that kind of a choice at the moment, so uh, no worries
Oh,
in
thank
that
God.
that's
front.
even
Yeah.
better, but I have to mute myself. Thanks.
I
Thank
hear
you.
your little puppy barking. She's
Oh
so cute.
God, yes. Now I can't even mute myself.
There we go.
Right on.
Yeah, I had asked you a while ago if that is a possibility, and you had given me an answer to that. So
Nah,
I'll
everything's
stick with that answer.
yeah, all of our assets are in a database. They're safe.
Okay.
And right now we don't have any issues. At some point, I would say I'm trying to think of future things that might cause something like that. And if we change to a different animation system or physics system, there we would need to potentially do something like to translate those assets to be compatible with the new system or something. But even in that case,
Right.
that doesn't mean losing things. That means we have to do some extra work to make the transition.
Yeah.
But
Hope
yeah,
that
we're not
answers
we're
your
not facing
question,
that kind
Carmel.
of thing. Yeah, I was gonna say, let me see.
She's got a.
I sort of saw
It's
it
kind
flash
of like
across the
what we're
screen.
talking about now. Yeah.
If they change anything on platform, their avatars, they will lose information. Is this the case? Can we still get creative without the risk of losing our inventory worlds? Yeah, you shouldn't have to worry about losing anything. I haven't heard of that happening to anyone. We had some initial problems with the inventory, but we've repopulated all of that from the database to this Kafka messaging system. So that's when everybody's stuff came back. And uh, if you're seeing any issues now, it's because of this account connector issue. So this account connector is where all the data flows through from the messaging system to your client, to update your inventory and worlds and all that stuff. And so if you're not connected to that, you could have very weird results. Um, yeah. So, but you shouldn't have to worry about anything. If it's working for you and you get in through the normal means, it should be fine. Just this week, we've people on the team have published worlds and builds, uh, even though there are pieces of the system that aren't functioning, like events publishing right now is totally not working for anyone. Nearby chat is also related to the account connector issue. The account connector it has a memory leak, and so it every few minutes it has to reboot, and that's when the nearby chat drops out, and then it doesn't reconnect until you rejoin the world. So again, we didn't want to put a patch on it and just make the client so that it reconnects every time that restarts. We'd rather fix the account connector issue, and that issue is affecting lots of other things more than nearby chat. So hopefully we're going to fix this account connector issue, and it will solve many problems. It's a whole host of little services to work on, but some of them play a major role in everything. Yeah.
Dumb
Is it?
question, but where are you
Go ahead.
reading the questions? Am I in the wrong?
There's a nearby chat. If you hover over the community voice channel, there's a little open chat box.
Oh, okay. It's not in
Yeah,
the
it's
channel
tricky to
itself.
find. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
It says open chat Solus for you when you hover over it.
So GitCorp says, is it somehow expected that as long as we are in beta, anything and everything can change until we reach a stable release? Yeah, it should be. Um, we are definitely on the roadmap, we have lots of major improvements, overhauling the avatar system, event creation, event hosting tools, um, all the game features, new shaders, like you name it. There's all kinds of stuff planned, And it's possible as a part of some of that work that we need to modify some existing systems. It's entirely possible. If we ever get to a point where, as Solus brought up, we need to worry about, you know, re losing some assets or changing some assets significantly, we would communicate that to everybody first. Um, yeah, no worries.
Yeah, but as you said, that's not really something that we even have to worry about because everything is stored in that data storage thing, right?
Yeah, yeah. Hold on one second.
Sure.
Yeah. Sorry, where was I?
Yeah, sorry that wasn't an important message I was sending. You
No,
did
I
that.
mean it is though. We, like I said, Nikki and I have been digging into this issue, so uh, something just popped into her head about the things we've been working on. So that's what distracted me. Yeah. Where was I? Something unexpected. Anything could change. Yeah. Yeah, we're going to be making changes and improvements. I wouldn't expect a lot of things to go backwards. Although we have talked about that because in some cases, um, you know, pulling changing some of like our store functionality or something might help us put a pause on supporting certain current features while we build out future ones. I know that's kind of vague, but yeah, all those things are on the table and we consider them for sure. And yeah, I know it's always been tough because Sansar, I saw in one of the channels, some people were asking this morning, is Sansar an alpha or beta state or release candidate? And yeah, we're in a mix. I think GitCorp said somewhere between beta, alpha and beta. And it's funny because it seems so polished and so functional from an outside perspective. But as I've been telling the community, like it is all those things, but it's also mid development, and there is a lot more work to be put into it, for sure. Came in late, build mode still not available. So build mode works for some people and not for others. We've had people on the team that have published new worlds this week. I, until very recently, have been able to log in with no problems, and now I can't log in. But before, when I could log in, I could not get into build mode while other people could. And I don't. Ninky, the thing that she just realized is that she was able to also log in with no problem, but during our debugging process, she killed the account connector service like mid login, which, like as I was mentioning to you, this account connector service is randomly rebooting. And when she did that when she was mid login process, now her account can also not log in. So something happened there mid process. There's a message that's probably stuck in Kafka that is now preventing her from logging in and me from logging in properly. And so like that's a great insight. And we know that a lot of what we're dealing with is revolving around the messaging service that all of our little backend services use to communicate. So it's quite likely we'll be able to pin down exactly what this issue is causing or caused by and work around it real soon.
Yeah, it's a bit like solving a crime, just kind of putting the pieces together.
It is so much detective work and research. Possible for Mac and Linux, yes, in multiple ways. We hope to have a native Mac port that's on the roadmap, and there's already a lot of things done in the code base to support those other build architectures. Is that right, Nikki?
Yeah. There's actually, well, it's varying levels of support. It's more complete in some places than other, but basically all the groundwork is there. So the
Hmm.
stuff that is there is more a case of finishing off as opposed to like having to design anything new.
Right.
That's much easier when you just kind of have to fix a few missing things.
Yeah.
I mean, it'd be great to see it running on mine as well because honestly, the Linux users are quite happy using that anyway. So
Yeah.
it'd be a right direction.
Right. I was thinking about that. Now, recently I had somebody contact me and they were interested in Linux support. And I was like, hey, that's interesting. We've actually done some work recently to support our wine build. But they were like, oh, no, I want native or nothing. So
Native
I
or
don't know.
nothing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, well, that's
Just pre-package it in a Proton package. Be like, yeah, fine.
right.
All the POSIX support's in there. I think, yeah, I think Berman said that the OpenGL stuff wasn't complete, but it was mostly there.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
that's probably the part where it'll trip us up. That's the difficult bit. I'm porting the rest of it. I know that wouldn't challenge me personally. And it probably wouldn't anybody else who's built code for more than one system. But the render stuff's kind of where you kind of need the specialized.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't even know much about it, but I could tell that that is a true statement.
But yeah, at
Uh,
least that netcode work I did all fixed the wine support. So we just have to
mm-hmm.
have to get Chrome running, and that would be it for that.
Nice.
Yeah.
Let's see. Git Corp says, I think it can be summed up as everything that is in the database now won't be lost, but some things can become broken. Specifically, especially things with bones, animations, physics, special shaders.
Yeah,
Uh,
that's all stored in buckets. That isn't really in a database per se. The
yeah,
database is basically just
right,
metadata.
right. Yeah. All the files are stored in a storage system. That's what Nikki meant by buckets. And then the database just holds entries pointing to everything. And I think what GitCorp's asking, is sort of in related to my comments, is that some things could become broken in the future with updates. I would say no. Like we're going to work to not have that happen. So like. Let's say we wanted to make a new avatar system and we decided, hey, we want to make a totally different skeleton. We don't have to not support the current skeleton. We could support that and add an additional one if we chose to, uh, and or come up with some sort of translation to translate all the old files to the new files. Um, so we can make decisions on our future development that won't break backward compatibility with older stuff. It's yeah, it's just something we'll have to deal with at some point in the future. But those issues are not even high on the roadmap. All of the many things that we have on the roadmap don't require that that type of choice to be made. So we don't have to worry about
Yeah,
it.
the friends list thing was just an outlier in that regard because it's kind of stored differently.
Yeah. This friends list thing, like it's those entries are currently not in a database. So that is something that is on our development map now that we're going to make sure that all of our friends' entries in the future go into a database. So, regardless of what happens with our messaging system, nobody has to worry about restarting their friends list again. We're not going to be able to get around it this time. All those entries are still there, as you can see. Like they're sort of available on the website. That has a database. It's interesting. It's just sort of like it's off to the side, if you will. We would have to do some extra work to take that information and like pipe it back into the system, which we could do, but would definitely take some development time. I don't know that it's really worth it. We can deal with that later. Let me finish this comment here. Things improve. We've had it in the past where we changed the new avatar, which is great. Oh yeah, so exactly what I was talking about. Dan says, do you have some time pad for this Linux Mac week month? It's a long ways off. Our primary objectives are the upgrades of our Kafka system, which is going to improve our reliability and scalability for events and concurrency, large amounts of users, and the avatar system and gamification stuff after that. And then there's a few under the hood things that for store and content creation and types to work on. So several months out. Our timeline on our main roadmap is over the next 12 months, I would say, and a lot of that is dependent on gaining a few more technical resources and being able to focus on these things. Honestly, what we're doing right now has been already and will play a large role in the speed of our future progress. The depth to which we've been forced into digging into every one of these services is something that you would not otherwise get to do, right? You might open up some of these services, look at them, try to understand them, but you don't spend 3 days deep diving into the nuts and bolts of something when you don't have to, right? You might focus on that new build out. So this is all going to be a real positive thing for us once we work past it. Will Sansar support GLTF? Basically the goal is to support being able to import other file types that are more industry standards, like USD, GLTF, and even other rigs like the Unity default rig and the Unreal default rig. We would like to get interoperability with other platforms as well. And we're in talks with some other platforms in order to make that happen. So what that would look like, we're still defining the details, but essentially having an account on one system essentially means you could already log in to the other system with your Sansar account, and your avatar would show up there, kind of thing. Yeah, so we've been talking with another platform about that, a couple. VRM. What's VRM stand for?
It's it's kind of
Content rights.
it's an avatar format with its own kind of specific rigging and things.
Oh,
It,
oh, okay.
I know there's a studio called Vroid Studio that lets you
Oh, the
create
Vroid avatars.
and yes, and dress them up with like clothes made of textures and things, and then
I've
that's the
seen
format
them.
it exports in.
Okay.
I actually use one of those avatars on VR chat and as a VTuber, so they have a lot of
Yeah.
utility.
Right. It's possible. Entirely possible. More options for bringing stuff in is fun, and exciting. And I think once we work on our avatar system, we'll be able to more easily iterate and add more things to the system as well.
Yeah, adding extra formats is fairly straightforward as well. So there's going to be
Yeah.
no really technical challenges beyond actually just implementing a library because of the
Yeah.
way the importer works. So that's all. That's all. Yeah, that's just. I'm going to shut up now.
Made in the same worlds. Yeah. And Dan asks possibility to in VR to drive using controllers instead of number pads. Yeah, so you might not have heard. One of the major things that I don't even think would be that difficult is a driving mode. So essentially, um, what we're going to do, and the community actually helped help me figure out an easy way to do this at one of our meetings. So right now, when you go into sit mode, when you click on a sit point, anytime you push forward or left or right on your controllers to do anything, it pops you out of sit mode. So in order to make a new driving mode and to repurpose those controls, we need to make a different button to get out of sit mode. And so it doesn't matter whether you're sitting in a vehicle or on a log, we are just going to have a different method or thing for you to press to get out of that sitting mode. And that's going to allow us to take those main controls and implement them as driving controls. So we have a plan that's fairly straightforward and it's going to be high on our list when we get to those new types of, I don't know, I keep saying gamification features, but I don't know, for lack of a better word, features that allow us to play more games and have more fun. Anybody else got anything? All right. Well, I might actually cut this meeting short than the full hour if we run out of stuff to talk about because I would actually well I would love to get back to working on Sansar, but I haven't had any breakfast yet either, so I'm like starving.
I see some more people typing furiously.
Is chat working now? It is off and on. So chat has to do with the account connector. So when the account connector service reboots while you're logged in, that's when you see the local chat disappear. And we've got the account connector right now. It can last for several minutes, and sometimes it doesn't even have this issue where it eventually will reboot. Um, we've made some progress, but at the same time, there are some people that can't log in because of messages that the account connector service is getting. So anyway, once we stabilize that, chat will be functional. Everyone will be able to log in. You will get all of your inventory updates. It is a big issue, this one service. It's causing a lot of these things. So once we get past that, it's going to be a huge improvement. ETA, man, we thought we had it yesterday for a moment, and then I was like, nope, that was not a fix. So when I tell you like, oh, it could be any time, like it literally could be. Yesterday I was like, somebody else asked me on the team, Nick asked me, he's like, hey, do you think this will be done by Monday? I'm like, I think I just got it. We could be done in a matter of hours. We could push in a new build. And then within about 3 hours, I realized, no, we don't got it. There's still an issue. There's still more to dig into. And that's just how coding development work goes
Hey
sometimes.
you,
Who's that? Who am I hearing?
Yanni,
Oh, hey. Hello.
Yanni. Hi,
Hi. Do you have a question?
what's up? Oh, no, I just wanted to join the voice.
Ah, welcome.
Thank you.
Nice. All right. All right. See you later, Get Corp. Yep. Later, Dan. All right. Cool. Well,
Yep,
thanks,
looks like
Johnny, for just
we'll.
jumping in, but I guess we're heading out. I've got to go get some food and
Yeah.
then get back to work.
Wow, no way.
So we'll
Yeah.
see everybody
Sorry.
same time next week. Hopefully
Yeah.
we'll be able to meet in World next week, so that would be nice. But just keep an eye
That's
on
the
the
goal.
announcements. We'll let you know.
Thanks, Nikki.
No worries.
Thanks everyone for being here. It's good talking with you all.
Yep.
Thank
See
you.
everybody. Bye.
Later. Hope to meet you soon sometime in World, Yanni. All right. We just left you. Anyway, later. Bye.
Bye.